talk about Nosferatu. I think
great movie.
When does it actually release?
Christmas.
Okay.
How far apart
I loved it.
How far apart are Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon opening?
Had to take away the Nosferatu segment.
No, I didn't. He didn't, because I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing up an article.
I don't know the answer to that, Crazy Joe. Sorry.
Okay, so it comes out. Are you allowed to give a review or comment on it?
Yeah.
Are you under NDA?
Hell yeah, I can. I can shill the shit out of this movie.
Okay, so can you tell us your initial thoughts about Nosferatu? And here's an article saying Robert Eggers took Nosferatu inspiration from Mel Brooks' Dracula Dead and Loving It. Do you see that at all?
I never.
Or what he's talking about?
I don't remember this movie at all. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that after your thoughts. What's your thoughts on Nosferatu, and should people go see it this week?
Yes,
for Christmas.
Absolutely,
is it a good family Christmas movie?
I think it does have a Christmas vibe to it, like in terms of that winter vibe, the coldness of it. It works really well. I love the movie. I thought it was fantastic. I think it's my second favorite Eggers movie outside of The Witch, then The Lighthouse, then Northman. I think all four.
I haven't seen any movies.
All four movies I love. I think they're great. I think he's a fantastic voice in cinema right now, and he did not disappoint. Holy shit, did he not disappoint? With Nosferatu.
I love Eggers. I love Eggers, man.
I think Nosferatu is him having a blast. It's very faithful to the Bram Stoker, I think. Stoker.
Bram Stoker.
Is he a stroker or stoker?
He probably stroked himself.
Yeah. It's very faithful, and that's what I found so surprising. Like the beats were very faithful, but it's still very engaging because of the visuals. The acting is fucking awesome. All the leads and supporting characters, they all bring it. They all have great scenes. The Nosferatu visual himself is a different take, and I really like from the voice to the visual, and I really enjoyed it. Lily Rose in the second half of the movie gives one of the.
She's good.
Yeah, bro, she is amazing.
I was thinking she would be the weakest link.
No, especially in the second half. Lex Luthor in the first half, I thought he was amazing. That guy Nicholas Hoult, I thought he was awesome. Nicholas Hoult, and then the second half, Lily, bro, she has the best convulsions of 2024, and we've had a great year when it comes to convulsions. Her body performance was she had to, as an actor, she had to have put herself through something. I don't know. It was crazy. I loved it. Cinematography again is just it's beautiful. Hope it gets nominations for costumes as well. I loved it. Cannot highly recommend this movie. This is gonna be if you watch let's say only 2-3 horror films a year.
Okay.
This is one you need to put in there. It's I think it's very accessible for mainstream audience, general audiences, and I think it's a lot of fun. Everyone should see this. Run to see Nosferatu.
Should I make
other people in our community have seen it as well, and they could vouch for it. I think Brucifer saw it. I think Degrassi saw it. Taladia, I think he saw it. It's great.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go see this. I'm gonna see this, especially on your recommendation, Perp. This is gonna be only the second Eggers film I ever saw because I hated The Witch, but that's okay because even Spielberg has a hook.
Never saw The Lighthouse?
No, after The Witch, I kind of avoided his movies.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah, Lighthouse,
great movie.
He's a phenomenal director. He's done only 4 films, and I think he's made such an impact. And he's also beloved within the industry.
Today that he confirmed that he has 5 projects in the works, but he doesn't know which one he's gonna do.
Wow, this is really interesting. I'm sorry, Beltry, Anthony. I was reading a little. No, I'm not a hater. I was reading this. The actual inspiration or some of the inspiration from Robert Eggers, some of the scenes in this movie from Dead or Loving It, was considered one of the comic genius's worst movies. There are a lot of scenes that were deliberately rewritten after watching Mel Brooks' movie and considering, wow, that totally doesn't make sense. So he actually fixed scenes that didn't work in that movie and made it work in his movie. That's kind of interesting.
The best scene in Dracula Dead and Loving It is when he's walking down the steps and he slips on the bat poop and falls down and then goes, "Children of the night, what a mess they make." That's hilarious. But that's like the only funny part in the movie.
I never
What do you think of that though, Perp? I do want to see. I don't know if I picked this up on VHS, and I might have.
Coming on Christmas Day.
But he actually used inspiration for scenes in a movie that didn't work and made similar scenes in his movie that did work. He corrected it. That's a weird way to get inspiration, isn't it?
That's actually
not necessarily.
That is actually, as if you're a director, that is smart as hell to do. Just take scenes that didn't work for the movie and then maybe make them work. Yeah,
I think the Daniels have sort of a similar thing. They were teaching a camp, and they were trying to do like an exercise with the campers of like, hey, let's do where they were going to make a short film inspired by a film they loved and a film they hate, and it had to like be inspired by that and maybe make their film. And what the exercise showed is that a lot of the times they respond more to the film they hate, trying to correct it. You know, it's cool.
That's even cooler to see. I really, based on your reaction, and then
it is a beautiful movie to look at. Yeah,
and then him giving this way of why, because that's great. Taking something and making it better. Like, there were some interesting ideas in Dead Loving It didn't work. Let me fix those scenes. Yeah. Let me expound on them and make them work. Fix something that didn't work before. I think that's really interesting.
One of the things that I think specifically about this adaptation that was awesome was that normally when you're adapting Dracula, the story of Dracula, because that's what Nosferatu essentially is, it's just a beat for beat rip off of Dracula, and it got famous for it, for the rights, because there was a rights issue or some shit. Normally the take is it's going to be romantic Dracula or beast Dracula in terms of like how it's going to coincide with the woman. You know, is she going to be seduced, or is it like, you know, like 100% assault? And it's like this movie manages to do both, where it's like there is like this seduction going on, but the Nosferatu character, Count Orlok, never loses his menace, never loses the creepiness, and never goes to like trying to seduce in a, you know, normal human way. It's really, really interesting. I loved it.
Okay, cool. And I want to read this quote from Robert Eggers about why he became fascinated with vampires and myths. Okay, outside that flop, Robert Eggers was digging back even into his youth when he first became fascinated by myths and staples surrounding vampires. See if what you think of his quote here. Vampire cinema is so prolific that we have all these tropes and roles that we think we know that they have been established. And Anne Rice refined them further. While trying to understand the origins of the vampire myth and understanding folk vampires, I had to forget everything that I learned. I read Bram Stoker's Dracula at least 5 times as a young person. I realized that I had infused it with things from vampire movies that aren't in the book that I thought were there. That's also interesting too. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because he read it when he was young, so it fused in with other media.
I like what he's saying. I like how he's doing the press tour. Blue Jay stopped by, member for 29.